find it interesting that people get so upset or insecure or defensive against such simple, insignificant things like age. So many people are so afraid to say their age, or like, they'll ask me, how old do you look? And honestly, I just say 32. That just seems like a good round number, but a lot of people, especially the ones who are younger than that, for some reason, they always get upset with me when I say that. Which is why I tell people, don't ask me how old you look, because I'm usually just going to say 32 and not even try actually guessing. I'm just going to say 32. It just seems like a good number. Unless you just look really old, in which case I'm just going to say 60. So if you ask me how old you look, I'm either going to say 32 or 60. So, I'm almost never get it right. I've actually never gotten it right yet. And I usually end up upsetting everybody most of the time. There was one time I told a guy he looked 60. He actually said thank you. So, good for him. I guess. I don't know. Anyways, like, I get it that society puts pressure on you and stuff, and people view someone differently when they're 16 compared to when they're like 36 or 60 or something, but that doesn't mean like we have to feed into their beliefs. Like, you don't have to be insecure about something just because other people are judging you by it. I mean, I don't know, that's just the way I think. It's like, I'm a firm believer of, if they're gonna hate, then just let them hate. You just do what makes you happy. Be you. Who gives a fuck what they think? Because, like me, age, it's just a number. It's an insignificant little fact. It's just the number of times the Earth has traveled around the sun since were pushed out of your mother's thing. It's not a measure of who you are. I mean, sometimes it can be an indicator of like some of the life experiences you had, though that's not always 100% accurate. There are some young people who've lived through horrible tragedies and they've matured beyond their years, and there are some old people who act way too young. But either way, like the age itself, it's just a number. It has no real meaning, and so. Like me, I have no problem with people telling me, like with me saying I'm 20. I have no problem telling people how old I am. I'm 25. It means absolutely nothing. It's just a fact. I mean, saying I'm 25 is the same as saying I'm black or I'm a guy. I mean, I have brown skin and I have a penis. And the earth has gone around the sun 25 times since I was born. These are all just facts. They don't actually mean anything. Though it is kind of funny that for some reason people are always surprised when I say I'm 25. Some people would have guessed I was younger just by the fact that for one thing, I have a relatively young face. Honestly, if I just completely shave everything, I lose like 12 years off of my life. And, some people, just because of my demeanor, the way I carry myself, I've been told I'm older and seem older and stuff, but whatever. I mean, I'm 25. I don't care what you think of me because of it. It just doesn't change the fact that I'm 25. That's just how it is. And also weight. Why are everyone so sensitive about weight? Like, every time I've ever seen a YouTuber do the TMI tag, they completely skip the question about weight. Like, why is that a big deal? Once again, I get it, societal pressures and all that stuff, but here's the thing. Fuck society! Like, who are they to judge? I mean, weight, once again, it's just a goddamn number. It means nothing. I mean, I had this whole speech prepared. I'm forgetting most of it. See, the problem is I have my best thoughts when the camera's off, and then I turn it on and I forget everything. But I had a much smoother transition into this, but like for me, but I'll just go right into it. The defense of the whole, oh, you're too fat because you weigh this much. Not necessarily. Because, like, I remember it was when I was 17, so it was a few years ago. I have no idea if it's been updated or not, but, like, I remember the last time that I talked to a medical professional, even about the BMI chart, even they said it was bullshit. Because, like, me, I was told by that medical professional that someone my height is supposed to weigh 170, which is fucking ridiculous because, when I was in middle school, I was 5'6" and I weighed 160. And so you're telling me that I'm supposed to be 170? No, at I'm actually like close to 5'11" now because I kept growing. I was 5'10" then. I'm like 5'10" and I think like 3/4 right now. But and don't ask me why I know that. Just we men are very sensitive about our height. Well, I'm trying not to care as much, but we were, once again, that's a whole nother part of the conversation too. Men are supposed to be tall, and like I'm the only relative I have that's male who's under 6 feet. And my sister is taller than me. She's like 6'1". She's the only female relative I have that's over 5'5". And so that was a big source of issues for me growing up. But that's a whole nother thing. Like, I've stopped caring. Okay, I kind of still care, but I don't let it affect the way I treat people. Anyways, back to the whole weight issue. Because, like, for me personally, like, 200 to 220 is my target weight. Like, for me, I'm 220 right now, and I have no problem saying that I'm 220. I don't feel insecure about it at all. Because technically, I'm officially like 50 pounds overweight. I'm fat, kinda. But, like, here's the thing. Like, anything under 190, I am lethargic as fuck. Like, I have no energy. The last time I was under 190, I was broke as hell. I just couldn't afford to eat. And I had no energy at all. I just could not live my life. And so, like for me, the last time I weighed that little, I was, like I said, middle school, I was like 5'6", 160, and then I jumped up to like, over the next 2 years, I gained 4 inches and 100 pounds. Don't ask me how it happened, but it just did. And, well, I know exactly how it happened. I ate a lot. Anyways, but yeah, it's just, being over the target weight that was set by these medical professionals does not even necessarily mean that you're fat. Because, like, for one thing, humans are all built differently. I know a lot of people taller than me that are a shit ton skinnier. And I know people, like, part of it, like, I've got broad shoulders. I'm built like an athlete. I've got broad shoulders and a thick bone structure. So there are a lot of people the exact same height as me that I'm just gonna weigh more than because of my build. Also, like, weight itself is not an indicator of the health because, like, for one thing, I've known that, like, in high school when I peaked at 260, I still only had like 23% body fat, and I knew a guy who weighed like 10 pounds less than me, but he was at 50% body fat. And so the heavier guy was actually in a better condition. Just pointing that out. Also, muscle weighs more than fat. Keep that in mind, because Michael Jordan, at the peak of his playing career, he was technically like 100 pounds overweight. Nobody called him fat. Just saying. But whatever. It's one of those many things that unfortunately people care too much about, and it's one of those things that I think nobody bothers fighting against it because they know it'll never really change. There's always gonna be idiots out there who just hate you because they can. But for me personally, I prefer being overweight. I feel most comfortable when I'm from 200 to 220. Anything below 200, I just start feeling lethargic. I don't have enough energy to just live my life. I'm not happy. And anything above 220, I've been above 220 for like the past year, but I try not to get that high if I can help it, just because, like, once I start getting above that, that's usually when I start like huffing and puffing, just going up a flight of stairs. So I try to stay under 220 when possible. But I really don't care enough to actually pay attention to my actual weight. It's just a number. I think I weighed myself like 2 weeks ago just because my pants keep getting smaller and smaller, but I've been holding steady at 220 for like the past month. So I think part of it is that I'm growing muscle in place of some of the fat. So yeah. But anyways, like, I don't care about being in shape and looking good. The most important part is just feeling good about who you are. Fuck what they say. So yeah, that's just my rant for the day. Like, you can ask me whatever you want. I'm never gonna be afraid to answer because these are all just facts about me. They may have helped shape who I became. Like, they may have been influencers in who I eventually turned into as a human being, but they are not the end all tell all markers, My age does not determine who I am as a person. My weight does not determine who I am as a person. Just like my race and gender do not determine who I am as a person. These are all just facts. These are all just facts about me. They may be factors that can help people more easily recognize me if they meet me walking down the street, but they are not who I am. Who am I? I'm a guy who loves listening to sad love songs. I've got 63 different Backstreet Boys songs memorized. And I know most people that haven't even heard 60 Backstreet Boys songs. I've cried at sad movies. I still love to read books. I'm currently rereading Anne of Green Gables. It's like my 5th time reading it. It's one of my favorite books. I like to write. I like to eat pizza. I have way too much chocolate in my drawers right now. I don't know what it is. I don't even necessarily believe in the holidays or anything, but whenever they start having holiday treats, I just find myself feeling like I have to get it. Ooh, Reese's peanut butter cup shaped like a tree. I have to buy it now. I don't know why. It's a thing that I do. Also, for some crazy reason, I always have my best ideas at midnight. And I just feel the need to start recording it, no matter how little sense it might make. That's who I am. And I'm also 220 pounds. Call me fat all you want, I really don't give a fuck.